Let's talk about 2-5-1 progressions. So in this, we need to think about what key we're in and then what kind of chords we're going to play over that. So simply a 2-5-1 progression means chords that are built off those numbers of the scale, and it goes from the chord built on 2 to the chord built on 5 to the one built on 1. So what would that look like if we were in C major? C major, all naturals. Now if I'm going to build a chord off of 1, if I build a chord off of 2, build off of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. Alright, so let's try this. If we start with 1 and 2, and let's see, we needed a 2-5-1, so I'm going to jump all the way to 3, 4, 5. There's 5. Alright, so I need a 2-5-1. Now, that is a perfectly good chord progression that you'll hear all over music, but it's kind of bouncing around in this form. So let's try and take these big jumps and make those smaller jumps. So for example, I could do this, which would make it work very smoothly. So what I did is I flipped the order of the notes to make it progress smoothly. Alright, so I needed DFA, GBD, and then CEG. So I did ADF, BDG, and CEG. Now I could do this in other forms as well. I could do DFA, DGB, and CEG. Or FAD, GBD, GCE. Wide variety to work with there. Now, that's all just to kind of smooth things out and make it easier to play. So in different forms, we'll get different colors or different qualities and different effects. Now what if we go to another key? Let's do G major. G major has all naturals except for F sharp. We have one sharp there. Now, I'm going to go through and make all my chords. Now, as I'm going, I'm going to mark that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. So now if I flip it around to keep it smoother, or to get kind of a stepwise progression, I could do something like this. So I need a 2 here, so I could take CEA, could do that, or what else could I do? Do let me play that over here so you can see it a little easier. So F sharp AD, GBD. Okay, what about an F major? So notice I did one key with one sharp, and now I'm doing a key with one flat. So I'm going to go to 2, 5, and 1. So 2, 5, if that's easier to see over here or over here, so let's do this. D, G, B, E, G, C, F, A, C. Now the beauty of this is if you start hearing that in music, it really allows you to think in bigger pieces when you're learning a piece of music. Rather than thinking, how many notes do I have to keep track of? I can now listen for a chord progression, and in those chords, I want to find the majority of the notes that I'm looking for. So for example, if you take the Star Spangled Banner, now if I were to break that down, I basically have a C chord here, a little scale-like action here, and jump. Now so far, I played a C major scale and I just had to borrow one note for the change there. C major scale, C major arpeggio, and I've got almost the entire opening of the Star Spangled Banner. Probably a G chord here. Yeah, sounds like a right choice to make there. All right, what about Ode to Joy, for example? All right, some scale action here. Have a wide variety that you can learn just from that. What's another good example here? If you're talking about folk songs especially, or if you're talking about pop songs, you're going to hear a lot of arpeggios. And then you'll get little fancier things like where you'll start working inward. As you're listening, the more you do it, the more you'll build that ability to hear the 2-5-1s. Okay? Now, a great little practice is to put these into different rhythms so you get used to changing and keeping things in the right place. So let's go back to C major for a moment. You want to play 2, 5, 1. All right, now a 2 was a DFA, so I'm going to do it like this. Now if I did maybe a little bossa nova rhythm. Not every key, not every song, is going to have a 2-5-1. Maybe we'll have different versions, but you'll start hearing a lot of this, where you'll hear a 5 and 1. Really listen for that movement. 5 chord, 1 chord. Basically in music, you're going to have two things happening. You're either home, which is 1, you're out on adventure, which is 5, or coming back home. So if we take the 5 and the 1, or the 2-5-1, we've really covered a lot of our possibilities in music. So, for example, we could do just a 5 and 1. Got a lot that we can do there. Or you can break it apart. Makes it a little more fun if we do. Make whatever little exercise you want out of it, and then really start listening to songs that you hear on the radio, or songs that you're reading in your music, in your exercises, or in your repertoire, and see if you can spot where there's a 5 or a 1 or a 2-5-1, etc. All right, hope that helps, and explore as far as you can with this, and then play around with the order that you put the chords in.